So what in the world is a pattern interrupt? Well, think of it like this. It's a deliberate change-up. See, our brains are hardwired to notice anything that's, well, different, anything that breaks a pattern. And here's the kicker. Some research suggests you've only got about 5 minutes to hold someone's attention before their mind starts to wander. A pattern interrupt is your tool to hit the reset button on that clock, snap their focus back, and pull them right back into what you're saying. In this explainer, we're basically going to build a field guide together. We'll kick things off with the what and the why, and then we're going to build 3 super practical toolkits. One for visual stuff, one for verbal, and one for your writing. And then at the end, we'll get to the simple core principle that makes this whole thing work so well. Okay, let's dive into our very first toolkit, the visual one. Now, if you're creating any kind of content, especially for YouTube, these are the exact tactics that the biggest creators use to keep your eyes literally glued to the screen. You know, you see these things every single day, probably without even realizing what they're doing. B-roll footage that cuts away from a talking head to actually show you something, breaking up the monotony. Someone like Mr. Beast is a master of this. He uses these rapid-fire jump cuts and perfectly timed sound effects to create this relentless forward momentum. But it can be even simpler. A little zoom in for emphasis, a quick camera angle change, or throwing some text on screen to highlight a point. Each one is a mini interrupt. A sudden shift in the music can totally change the vibe, and even just changing your background tells the viewer's brain, okay, pay attention, new topic. Every single one of these forces your brain to stay locked in. All right, let's move on to our second toolkit. This is where things get really interesting because this isn't just for content creators anymore. These verbal techniques are incredibly powerful in pretty much any spoken conversation. Whether you're on a sales call, you're in a team meeting, or shoot, even just trying to get a point across at the dinner table. And this just shows the difference perfectly. That opener on the left, did I catch you at a bad time? We all expect that. It's a pattern we're trained to just shut down immediately. But the one on the right, it's totally disarming, it's kind of funny, and it's honest. It just completely shatters the script of a normal cold call. And it makes the person on the other end curious instead of defensive. So the magic is so often in the little details. After that great opening line, the salesperson asked for 27 seconds. Not 30 seconds, not a minute, 27. That super specific number is a pattern interrupt all by itself. It's playful, it's weird, and it makes you think, okay, this person has really thought this through. What can they possibly say in exactly 27 seconds? Now I gotta know. And remember, it's not just what you say. It is absolutely how you say it. Sales expert Jeremy Miner teaches this exact technique. So instead of just plowing ahead with your question, you slow way down. You pause. You lower your tone just a little bit. Can I ask you something? That little hesitation, that verbal pause, it forces the other person's brain to stop what it's doing, lean in, and actually pay attention to whatever's coming next. You've just signaled that this is important. Okay, time for our final toolkit, the written word. In a world of overflowing inboxes and just endless social media feeds, breaking the pattern in your writing can mean the difference between getting read and getting deleted. This is such a great example of a subject line. Now, why does this work? It's because it playfully hijacks a pattern that we all know and, let's be honest, we all hate. That spammy car warranty call. It's like an inside joke with your reader that immediately says, hey, I get it. I'm not one of those guys. This is something different. Here's another one. A standard newsletter might just say, this week's tips. Boring. But this subject line, it creates this huge curiosity gap. My personal sales assistant? What does that even mean? It promises this unique, specific value, and it makes opening that email the only way to solve the little puzzle you just put in their brain. Now, this one is so subtle, but it is so good. As marketer Will Allred points out, almost every single sales email starts with hi name. But by just moving the name to the end of the sentence, you instantly break that formal, stuffy structure. It just feels less like a mass email and way more like a casual message from a coworker. It's a tiny change that completely shifts the entire tone. So we've looked at all these tactics for video, for speaking, for writing, but what's the one big idea that ties them all together? Let's zoom out for a second and look at the core principle that makes every single one of these examples work. And this is it. This is the whole game, right here. This insight comes from sales leader Nick Sigulski. In a world this noisy, blending in is basically a death sentence. Before you can ever convince anyone that you're better, you first have to get them to see that you're different. And every pattern interrupt we've talked about, from a jump cut in a video to a quirky email subject, is a signal that just screams, hey, pay attention. This isn't the same old thing you were expecting. So, to quickly recap your You toolkit, visually, you're going to use constant change to keep their eyes engaged. Verbally, you're going to mess with their expectations, both with your words and your delivery. And in your writing, you're going to use surprising structures to jump out of that crowded inbox. The goal is always, always the same. Be different first. So I'll just leave you with this question. I want you to think about your day tomorrow. That weekly meeting you always have, that email you need to send, that conversation you've been meaning to have. What is one predictable pattern you can interrupt to make people stop, listen, and actually truly pay attention?